Good morning, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be with you here today. I'm Americo Pinto. I'm the Managing Director of PMO Global Alliance, PMOGA. PMOGA is the Project Management Institute global community of PMOs. So our focus is on project management offices and all the power that these structures have in terms of generating strategic outcomes and results for organizations, executives across the world. So today I will share with you some technical aspects, but thank you. Good. I'm Brazilian. It's impossible for me to stay there, it's really difficult. So this way it will be easier for me. I can move, right? Yeah, so as I said, our topic today is a little more technical, no doubt, but technical in a way that becomes very strategic for every company. So we know that PMOs and PMO leaders, they have a big responsibility in their companies. They have to show the value of what they are doing. And this value is represented by the results that they can generate for companies. So in theory, it looks clear, it looks maybe easy, but definitely it's not. It's one of the biggest challenges of every single PMO in the world. So for a long time, we've been researching on that. We've been talking with some of the most successful PMOs in the world, trying to understand how they address this challenge, how they can deliver value, and how they can be recognized by their executives, by their companies, as something that they can't live without their PMOs. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. I will share some insights, a mindset, something that came from the real-world experience. So this way, you can think a little about that. If you are a PMO leader, possibly, I believe it will make a lot of sense for you. If you are a PMO executive, so it means that you are sponsoring a PMO, you will understand the future of PMOs, how your PMO should behave from now on, more and more, because definitely that's what we see in the most successful organizations around the world. So I told you about PMOGA, PMO Global Alliance. As I said, PMO Global Alliance is PMI. Actually, till 2 years ago, PMO Global Alliance was an independent organization focused on PMOs. It was founded by me. But in 2023, PMI acquired PMOGA, and then PMOGA became PMI's PMO community. So PMOGA is today a brand. It's not an organization anymore, but I still have the privilege of leading this organization, this specific community worldwide. So when we say PMOGA, we are talking about PMI, is exactly the same thing, but is a sub-community focused on PMOs, right? I'd like to start with you with something that is exactly what we saw a few years ago when we started to develop what I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes. A few years ago, we found a lot of articles and books about PMOs. They are not something new, right? We see that people started to talk about PMOs like in the 70s, okay? So PMOs are not new, but the way that we're doing PMOs today, definitely it's very new. If you try to read about that, if you try to buy some books on PMOs, you will find that there are many different proposals about what a PMO should be. Usually, these experts, these consultants or experienced professionals, they propose what we call types of PMOs. And there are many different proposals. For example, possibly you already heard about some of them. Controlling PMO, EPMO, Enterprise PMO, Strategic Management Office, Center of Excellence. There is one that today people are talking about that a lot, is the VMO, Value Management Office. TMO, Transformation Management Office. There are many, many, many of them. And it's something really interesting, because if you read these different articles, these different books, you will see that each professional propose something different. Some of them 3 types, 4 types, 5 types with different names, right? Some of them very creative. And you can ask yourself, okay, so which one is the right one, right? Because automatically, if you decide to follow one of these proposals, all the other proposals should be wrong. That's what we realize that is not true. Actually, all of these boxes that you see here, they are valuable, but not as what many people usually do. Many people, even experienced leaders, they understand that these boxes as something that they have to choose, one of them, like a choice. So, okay, we will have a center of excellence. We will have a strategic management office. And when you open this box, you will find exactly what you need in your organization. If you think a little about that, it doesn't make a lot of sense, because how someone could create a solution for your company without knowing you, without knowing your needs, without knowing, the demands of your executives, the pains of your organization? It would be a big coincidence, right? And that's exactly the point. Because instead of taking one of them, what you have to do is something a little different. You can drink from all these ideas, so you can open all these boxes and learn about them. But successful PMOs are those that are created as a solution for each different company. So it means that you have to create your own solution, and you can learn from any great proposals. But each of them is a different perspective about what a PMO could be. There is a famous tale, I'm going to try to tell it. It's about a kind of guru that has some followers, and one day he proposed a challenge. He said to his group of followers, a small group, he said, okay, I will blindfold you, and I will put you in front of an animal. And I want you to touch the animal, and you will tell me which animal is that. And that's what he did. So 5 people blindfolded, and they were around an elephant, okay? A big elephant. They didn't know that. So they started to touch the animal. The first one touched the trunk in front of the elephant. And he said, oh, I don't know, it looks like a snake, right? The other one was in the back of the elephant and touched the tail and said, oh, it's very thin. It looks like a worm. Another one close to the ear said, it's something plain and soft. I don't know, a fish. If I ask you, who was correct? You will probably say, America, no one, because it was an elephant, right? Yes and no. And why? Because when we talk about PMOs, we have many different perspectives. If you are in your company, it can be a snake. If you are in another company, another department, it can be a worm, or it can be a fish, or it depends on where you are around the elephant. And that's what makes PMO very special, because all of them, they are PMOs, even if they are different names, right? ePMO, Center of Excellence, VMOs, all of them are PMOs, because they are centralizing, in some way, project, program, and portfolio management tasks, but in their own way, because they are solutions that were made for specific needs, specific organizations. That's what we learned from the process of research that we conduct all these years. And then we said, okay, so you don't need to take one, right? You have to create your solution, because if you take one, what happens is exactly what you see here. You say, oh, I want a VMO. The VMO is the blue box. Someone else told you what you have to do as a PMO. It doesn't make sense. It can inspire me, but I don't follow that exactly as someone else told me that things should be. So this way, when I start to push my blue cube in my organization, that is the red and green box, it doesn't work, right? It doesn't work because it's like a medicine for a pain that doesn't exist. Oh, but it's a great PMO, technically speaking, right? Like it's a great medicine for a pain in the stomach, but what you have is a headache. You know what I mean? How can you see the value of what we are doing as a PMO if you have no pain in your stomach? So I have to understand what you feel. I have to understand your needs, your demands, what are the real needs that will drive what our PMO should be. So when I say that, I think that you probably think, yeah, it makes a lot of sense, right? Why don't we do that? That's a good question. Sometimes because it's easier to follow someone else, than create your own solutions. It looks less risky, but actually you are taking much more risk than if you are creating what you really need. So, based on this, PMI this year, finally, and I say finally because for PMO professionals, we've been waiting for that for years, literally. This year, PMI published the PMO Practice Guide. This is the nickname. The official name is Project Management Office's Practice Guide. It's a little too long, so we call it PMI PMO Practice Guide. Look to something very interesting. All of you know that PMI has the PMBOK, right? So the PMBOK is a standard, right? Why don't we have a PMO BOK, right? Like a standard for PMOs. There is a reason. Why is it a practice guide, not a standard? The reason is this guide won't give you how your PMO should be. And why? Because I have no idea. Actually, it depends on where you are around the elephant. The point is, this guide is not a standard because when we talk about a standard, it looks like there is a standardized way of having a PMO. Oh, PMOs should be like this. No, PMO should be like what you need. So this guide is focused on how you should create your own solution. So it means that if you use this guide today as a PMO leader, the result will be this. And if I use the same guide today, my company, the result will be that. They will be totally different. And why? Because we are in different positions around the elephant. Our needs are different. Our organizations, our customers, all of them are different. Obviously, the results will be different. Our PMOs, maybe they are called PMOs, but they are doing different things. So, based on this, we have something to share with you. In a very recent survey that we had with our community, I won't say that we realized, because honestly, this is something that we've been researching a long time, but we confirmed that is still one of the most important concerns of PMOs around the world is value. So, we are talking about how PMOs can demonstrate value, but there is more. It's okay, I believe I'm demonstrating value, but people cannot see the beauty of what I'm doing. So it means that, technically speaking, it looks that you are doing what you are supposed to do. But even with that, people don't see the value of what you are doing. They don't recognize the value of what you are doing. And I'm talking about the company, right? The executives. So people still believe that they can live without you as a PMO. Definitely, it's not good. So, based on this is how we developed our guide. in the last few years. And now I'm going to show you some insights about this so you understand some specific aspects of this development. Well, the first thing, and maybe one of the most important ones, is what does value mean for you, for your PMO, for your company? When we talk about value, the first word that comes to our mind possibly is money, right? We think about the return over investment, ROI, or something like that. However, things are not exactly like that. And why? Because value, the way that we see value, can be very different, depending on the person, depending on the company, sometimes depending on the country, on the culture. You certainly agree with me that there are regions in the world or countries in the world that they are very money-oriented. In other places, maybe it's not only about that. It's about quality of life, it's about visibility, prestige. I'm talking about things that can be related with people, that can be related with companies, organizations. If you are government, definitely it's not only about money, right? It can be related with the sector or the industry. It can be related of the culture of people. So there are many ways of understanding value. And if you are a PMO, this is the first thing that you have to do. You have to understand what value means to you. When I say to you, remember, it's not to you as a PMO leader, it's to your company. Because honestly, what you think definitely is not exactly what will drive your PMO into success. It's about who you are serving that will be the big source to define what value means. So, based on this, we have to understand something important. Value as beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And it explains a lot of problems that we see PMOs experiencing around the world. Sometimes people say, oh, I'm doing the best I can, you know, technically what I'm doing is fantastic, but people don't recognize, they don't see the beauty of what I'm doing. And why? Because value as beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Maybe it's beautiful for you. It doesn't mean that everyone can understand what you are doing as what they really need. And why? Because it's about their pains, it's about their needs, their demands, their expectations. It's not about what you want to do. So, if we believe on that, if it makes sense for you, now we are ready to start with the insights. This guide brings to you a customer-centric approach for value-driven PMOs. Value-driven because that's what we want to generate all the time and want to be recognized. And customer-centric because I'm telling you that PMOs, they are service providers. And as service providers, they have customers. I'm not talking about the customers, the final customers of your organization. No, definitely not. I'm talking about the customers of your PMO. Who are they? Your executives, the C-level, project managers, because usually they are not part of the PMO in most of the companies. Sometimes, yes, but if they are not part of the PMO, they are your customers. Project team members, all of them will be your customers. And you have to understand them if you want to generate value, because they have different needs, different demands, different pains. That's the idea, right? Okay, and based on this, we need to capture needs, define solutions, and delivering expectations. Let me give you an example about what I'm talking about. Look, imagine that you have a pain in your stomach, right? And you decided to visit a doctor. When you get there, Imagine that if the doctor just looked to you, you don't say anything, the doctor just looked to you and say, okay, don't worry. I have here a box with the best medicines for you. And you can think, wow, what? He doesn't know what I'm feeling. This is the box. Take it, go home, take all these medicines, and you will feel really better. It's okay. You take your box, like one of those in the beginning of my presentation. When you get home, you open the box, and you find many things that you have to do. Functions of a PMO, for example, right? And you say, okay, let me see the first one. And you see a very well developed medicine for your heart. But you don't have any problem with your heart, right? Your problem is a pain in your stomach. Oh, no, but this is the best one, right? High technology, you know. Wow, we are proud of that. Yeah, but I don't need it. So, how can I see value in what you are providing to me if I don't have anything that justify what you are doing? Of course, it doesn't make any sense, right? So, how should we act in a situation like that? Okay, I'm going to go to the doctor, and you can think, all right, as a PMO leader, I could ask my customers what they need, right, what they want. And you could come to your customer, your director, for example, and say, hello, director, would like me to provide you with project management methodology, for example, right? Or with some reports about the portfolio. It doesn't work. And why? Because it's like if you are coming to your customer, your patient, and asking them, would you like to take this medicine or that medicine? It's like if you are providing a list of medicines. People don't want that. People want solutions. They want that you understand me, what I'm feeling, and tell me what I have to do. I don't care if it's a methodology. I don't care if it's a report. I don't care if it's training. It's about the outcomes. Why should you provide me with training? Oh, it's because every time that I need to assign someone to an important project, I never have people with the right skills to do that. This is the pain. And how can I solve that? Okay, I'm going to provide you regular training. Oh, every time that I need to make a decision about our portfolio, I never understand the relationship between our projects and the strategy. Good, this is the pain. What can we do? We can provide you with some support on portfolio management, selecting projects that are connected with the strategy and provide you with a map. Can you see what I'm talking about? That's the real pain. The pain is not what you are doing. What you are doing is the medicine. So, if you change your mindset about that, now you are in the right path. So, the PMO Value Ring Framework is the heart of the PMO Practice Guide. This framework is something that will let you create your own solution based on the experience of the most successful PMOs. By the way, we have some of them here, especially Dubai Municipality. Dubai Municipality, I don't know if all of you know about that, but a couple of years ago, before PMOGA acquisition, it was recognized as the best PMO in the world in 2022. Am I right, Hiba? 2021, right? Yeah. And in 2022 was recognized by PMI. For the first time, it's not the triple crown, it's right, 2 crowns, but it was recognized by PMOGA in 2021, by PMI in 2022, and in 2023, now it's only one award, the PMI PMO award. It's only one because now we are only one family. But anyway, companies, organizations like Dubai Municipality around the world provided us with their experience, and then we created this framework. And this framework is something that will provide you how you should create your own solution. So look, I'm going to show you a few details. I think I still have 20 minutes, maybe? Yeah? Okay, this is the framework, right? It looks a little colored, right? But it's easy. It's very easy to be understood. We have 5 layers, right? The first one is called organizational baseline elements. So forget about the PMO. The organizational baseline elements is about your company, or about your organization. What is the strategy? What is your governance? What is about your culture and maturity in project management? What is about your industry? Because a capital project industry is different from a technology industry. So let me understand all the characteristics of your organization, and now I can talk about a PMO. I can create one from the beginning, or I can reveal the one that already exists. But anyway, everything should be grounded in this soil, where we understand what our organization is and our priorities, strategic priorities. So this is the element number 1. Number 2 is PMO structural components. So now we have the ground and we have the pillars. We have 3 of them. The pillars of any PMO are the PMO mandate that will tell you what your PMO is, why it exists, right? Where it's connected in your organization, right? So it defines the basics of any PMO, the existence of any PMO. The second one is the PMO governance. It's how the PMO will interact with your organization in terms of authority, in terms of decision-making, etc. And the third one is my favorite one. Is about the PMO strategy. I'm not talking about the company strategy. It's the PMO strategy. And why? Because we want to generate value, right? I need a strategy behind that. A strategy that can identify, for example, that, this year we will start. And we will start with those people that we know that they need much more something from us, and they are open to us. This group of people here, they will be our customers. This year, we will focus on generating value for them. Because next year, they will be our partners. They will show to the rest of the company that, wow, I cannot live without these guys, I want more. And other people will come. They will be open for the PMO. So there is a strategy behind that, right? Okay, our 3 pillars are defined. Now, we go to the next one. Is the PMO customer experience cycle. Customer experience, wow, interesting, because it doesn't look that we are talking about project management, right? It's something that came from another area. Service experience or customer service experience. How I will make each of my customer be successful and love me, right? Need me. This is the art of a successful PMO. I need to make you have a great experience. And sometimes you have benefits, many of them, you have to recognize them. Sometimes there will be these benefits. For example, okay, now I have reports. It means that I'm controlling some people more than in the past. It can be a little, right? A little harsh. So, but at the end, the balance is positive. This is the spirit. So there is a specific cycle. And this cycle, we break it down in the value-generating PMO flywheel. I don't know if you heard about the concept of flywheel. Flywheel is like a very big wheel, heavy, and you will try to move it, right? It came from the book of Jim Collins, Good to Great. Don't know if you had any contact with this book, but it's a very smart concept. So you have to move the wheel. At the first time when you start, oh God, it's really heavy, right? It's difficult. The first cycle is difficult. But when you start to move it, you get momentum, right? It means that the second cycle will be easier. And the third cycle will be much easier. And then you start to get some speed. And why? Because of the momentum. And that's what happens with PMOs. In the beginning, it's more difficult because you need to show value, and sometimes it's not easy to create value in the beginning. However, if you persist, right, you will find what you need if you are in the right path. So that's why we have this flywheel with 10 steps, 10 steps. And in the center of this, we have the PMO customer. That's why we exist. And you can think, Americo, but actually you are saying that we have to do, as a PMO, what people want? No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you will do what people need. It's different, totally different. And sometimes you cannot do what they need right now because they are not prepared for that. You know? Imagine, for example, that we have two people here. One is an adult, and the other one is a 3-year-old child. Okay? I want to make them see the value of what I'm going to offer to them. The first option, they have to make a choice. The first option is a Ferrari, a real car, right? The keys are here. They can take it if they want. The second choice is a Ferrari, but it's a remote control toy. All right? And I'm going to ask them. When I ask the adult, more mature, the adult will say, okay, give me the keys, right? The adult knows the value of a real Ferrari. If I ask the 3-year-old child, I know they are smart today, but this one is, right, naive. The child will say, I want a toy. And even if you try to say, no, but come on, the real Ferrari is much more valuable than a toy, the child will say, no, but I want a toy. And if you want to push the Ferrari, the real one, it's not a good idea, right? Okay, Americo, but what are you talking about? What I'm talking is many of us in our topic, project management, we are dealing with children. Can you see that? Yeah, we are dealing with children. In our topic, of course, they are great in the business, in what they do, you know, it's okay, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about our topic. It means that we have to raise them. It's not about pushing, because if we do that, they cannot absorb, and they cannot see the value. We have to raise them. We have to let them see the value of what we believe they need. They really need that. But we need to respect them. Because it's not about what you want, about what you see. It's about what they feel, their perception of value. That's what makes PMO successful, when they can understand that. So, this is the value-generating PMO flywheel, right? Let me show you something very, very quickly before ending. Can you see steps 9 and 10? Value delivery and value recognition. We have assessments, best practices, everything on how you should work in each of these steps. But let me tell you why the customer experience cycle is, we broke it down in 2 steps, value delivery and value recognition. What is the difference between them? Value delivery is something that is much more measurable. Okay? It's more tangible. We can show, for example, that now we have a map creating connections between all our projects and our strategy. Remember, the pain was, oh, I cannot make a decision because actually I don't see the connections, you know, of our projects with the strategy. Now we have a map. So the value is here, in theory. Value recognition means, come on, let me ask you, customer, now can you make a better decision based on my promise? You can say, America, of course. Sometimes not, for many different reasons. One of them, a lack of maturity. Remember the children? Yeah. Sometimes because Because you mapped the wrong pain, right? There are many possibilities, but what I can ensure to all of you is, if you don't have value recognition, you have nothing. Because you are trying to do, I will paraphrase Peter Drucker, nothing is more useless than doing, in the best way possible, something that never should be done. And there are many PMOs that they are great on that. They are doing a fantastic technical job. But they are ignoring, totally ignoring, the perception of value of their customers about what they are doing. Right? Great medicines for pains that just don't exist. So, based on this, I will summarize what we said here. It's the value chain of a PMO. We have needs, right? I have to understand the needs. We have our services that will deliver the needs, so the pains and the medicines. We have outputs. Outputs are, for example, the report, or the methodology, or the training sessions that you deliver. They are the outputs. And then we have the outcomes. Outcomes are what your customers really expect, the results. They don't want training. They want people with the right skills. They don't want methodology. They want people doing projects in the same way. So we can expect the same results, right? And we have outcomes. But perception starts at the mind of our customers. So outcomes without recognition, they are not benefits. So now we want benefits. Benefits is when your customer say, yeah, you changed my life. I'm feeling better. I don't have a headache anymore. Now I can make a decision. Now I can assign someone skilled for my projects. Now I can... That's it. You are enabling your customers. You are healing them. That's what they expect from you. And finally, so look, benefits, it's like an individual value, right? You have many different customers, so they have their own individual perception of value. Value is when you earn organizational trust. It's the balance of the recognition of all your customers. And remember, you have different customers. Some of them maybe can be more relevant for you than others. For example, the executive level, they pay the bill, right? So, of course, they have a different type of relevance. You know what I mean? So when we have this balance, the final balance among all your customers, and they say, yeah, that's good. We need the PMO for our future, for our success. That's the value of a PMO, right? All right, so we have a certification, a new one. This certification was launched by PMI with the PMI Practice Guide, PMI PMO Practice Guide. The name is PMI PMOCP, PMO Certified Professional. It's a gold standard certification, and by the way, the region where we have more certified people, I'm talking about thousands of people, is here in the Middle East. The Middle East represents the largest part, the largest percentile of our community worldwide, right? Even before the acquisition. So I could say that we are very strong here in the Middle East, and the country that has more certified people in the world is Saudi Arabia, right? So, and to close our discussion today, PMO value is not claimed. It's earned and recognized. It's not about what you think as a PMO leader. It's about what your customers feel, right? So only when outcomes and benefits are clearly perceived as worth the effort, the PMO is truly valued. So everything starts with your customer, then I create solutions. I don't follow other people's solution. I'm inspired by them. I monitor how our customers are perceiving, the value of what I'm creating. And at the end of the day, when I have the balance of our efforts, we will have the value of our PMO. Definitely, this is the future. I have no doubt about that. And it's not a coincidence that this approach is being very well succeeded. We are starting, in a few time, with some great news about all of this that you saw. We are connecting this with some supporting products for PMOs. It's something new at PMI, and we are working on this. We are inviting some organizations around the world to test and to develop all of this with us. I've already had a chance to invite Dubai Municipality to participate through HIBA, and there will be other companies from the UAE also participating, from the Middle East. Anyway, anyone here that wants to know more, that wants to participate, will be very, very welcome. If you try this QR code, you will find our online community platform. At the online community platform, you will find the PMOGA MENA hub. Our hubs, they are led by volunteers. So Hiba is the leader of our MENA hub, doing a great job. Everything is new. We work in collaboration with PMI chapters because we are at the same family, right? We will have a big global conference on PMOs organized by PMI and PMOGA very soon, and we are planning to deliver that here in Dubai. I hope that you can hear about that soon. Last year it was in Istanbul, 2 years ago in Paris, and now it's time to bring it to the region. And at this online community, you will find a lot of resources related to PMOs, and you will find the MENA hub. You can join and participate as a volunteer, or just enjoy the resources available in this specific community, okay? So, thank you very much. I wish you the best success in your PMOs, and I'm sure that if you are looking for great practice on PMOs, you'll find many of them here in Dubai. It's not a coincidence that the UAE was the winner 2 times in our award in the last few years. And of course, at Dubai Municipality, you have the privilege of counting on one of the best PMOs in the world. Thank you very much.
Oh, thanks to Mr. Americo Pinto. Would like to ask him to remain with us on the stage. We're not done with him yet. Ladies and gentlemen, حضور الكريم، يسرنا الآن أن ندعو إلى المنصة المهندس ناصر حمد بوشاب، المدير التنفيذي لقطاع التخطيط والحوكمة في بلدية دبي، ومنى محمد بوحميد، الرئيس التنفيذي لقطاع موارد المستقبل في دائرة الموارد البشرية لحكومة دبي، وأعضاء اللجنة المنظمة، والسيدة وضحى الغفالي، والسيدة هبة الشحي، والسيدة إنجي يحيى، والسيد أبو بكر مزمل، للتفضل وتقديم الدرع التكريمي والتقاط صورة تذكارية مع السيد أمريكو. One thing that makes a photo more beautiful is to make the one in the frame shy. You can make him shy by giving him an applause. One more time.